Hey, what is happening, Bulls and Bears? It is Friday, March 4th, 2022. I did not get a video out yesterday. It was a day of zero energy. I actually slept longer than I've ever, well, probably longer than I've slept in about a year. And just had to get one of those days to just recuperate. I'm not sure what it was, but wasn't sick. I wasn't sneezing, nothing like that. Just had to sleep most of the day. It's just weird. Now we've got a lot of economic and financial news to cover today. I believe that 2022 is going to be the worst year that we've seen probably since the Great Depression. All right. Now, I'm not saying markets are going to crash and that we're going to have plunging markets. I think it's going to be an inflationary collapse, and what I've been saying for years. Now, when I first started this channel, and even just a couple years ago, I had a lot of people saying I'm crazy, doom and gloom. Some people still say that, but it's definitely a lot less now as people see their standard of living drop, the cost of living rising. They see the money that they make, the hours that they work are now just barely getting by for so many people. And what used to be like 94, 95% thumbs up on this channel is now mostly 98, 99% thumbs up. So thank you very much for your support, for being here. And I've noticed more people now in agreement, and still some people, about 1% people out there saying, this is crazy talk. But we're proven right again and again and again. As things continue to get worse, you're going to see more people jump on board and more people realizing and snapping themselves into reality. And hopefully, at the end of this, this will be a valuable lesson. But I think we're going to see some hard times before things start getting better. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom, and millions of people here in the United States, I'd say majority of the population here in the U.S., not prepared whatsoever. And I was thinking about the Titanic and how the Titanic was unsinkable, or at least that's what people thought. So guess what? They didn't have enough lifeboats. They didn't have enough rafts for everyone. Because why? It was unsinkable. Why waste a bunch of space and have a bunch of rafts on an unsinkable ship? Well, people have looked at the United States, and especially people here in the United States, have just came to the conclusion that the United States is invincible, that we're always going to be the country with one of the highest standard of livings in the world, that nothing ever could go wrong here because we've got this printing press behind the scenes that could just come and rescue anyone or any company that needs help. Well, here's the problem. You and I, we're not too big to fail. Corporate America, too big to fail. And even if you see a company fail or allowed to fail, a lot of times the upper end people or the people at the high levels of these companies have already gotten out. So once the people at the top make enough money to live off of for the rest of their lives, probably 100 lives in many cases, doesn't really matter if their company goes under. But you're going to see continuous bailouts. Now the Fed, they recently came out and admitted that they were wrong. This is very rare. Let's take a look at this first article right here. Jerome Powell admitting the obvious. Wow, shocker. We should have moved earlier. Jerome Powell. All right, now most of you here watching this today, you know that rates have been too low for too long, that prices are rising beyond what people can afford, and you see the increasing amounts of debt. We talk about it here all the time. People have to borrow more and more money just to keep up with the Joneses, just to keep a roof over their head, just to keep food on the table. So anyone living in the real world knows that we should have raised rates a long time ago. But it's interesting, though, now they're finally admitting that they should have moved earlier. Well, here's the thing. If they admit being wrong, and if they admit that they should have done this earlier, why are we still talking about a fraction of a percent rate hike? Well, because the system is so over leveraged. They are afraid of bringing down the house of cards. They are afraid of pulling the Jenga block out and watching this whole thing come tumbling and crumbling down. And when they do that, they'll know they'll get the blame. So of course now they're talking about, instead of a 0.5% rate increase, it's going to be 0.25%, and they're saying there's going to be more. But why haven't we raised rates yet? When home prices went up beyond 2008 levels, that should have been a warning sign, or at least a wake-up call. But no, they kept rates low. They kept stimulating markets. Manufacturing wasn't brought back here to the country. We're still way too dependent on imports here, and that's why prices are going to continue to rise. Combine that with all of the manufacturing disruptions we've had here, the rising energy transport costs. We're headed into some very, very rough times. All right, now I wanted to touch on a topic that we bring up here from time to time, but people still ask me, hey JJ, what can we do? We know things are bad. We know things are crazy. We know the printing press is out of control. It's really not printing, it's digitized money. Over 90% money, what they call money, is digital. How do we fight back against this? Keep stacking in anti-dollar wealth or anti-dollar assets. My number one thing every 2 to 3 weeks is still silver. And people say, JJ, silver is not going up. It's just kind of sitting there. The time will come. Yes, they're suppressing precious metals on the paper markets. They're using derivatives. They're doing shorting. And they're keeping the price suppressed via paper. So you have not seen the real panic into silver yet because they're suppressing the price. However, keep stacking physical silver, because physical silver ultimately is going to detach from the paper price, and that's going to expose the big scam of this paper suppression of real hard assets. But you have to keep stacking the physical silver. It's not an infinite. It's not like the US dollar where they can just type up infinite amounts on a screen somewhere. It's not unlimited, all right? So keep stacking. I guarantee you, I fully believe that one day you're going to be heavily rewarded. And I feel like at the end of this, the silver stackers, we're going to be looking back on this, and we're going to be laughing at all of this euphoria and all of this mania and debt creation. And we're going to say, wow, we saw this coming, and we're going to be handsomely rewarded. The time will get here. You just have to be patient. These types of collapses don't happen overnight, but as you continue to watch and pay attention, you'll see things in 2022 it's gonna continue just like we predicted here. And just look back over the last couple of years again, like I was saying earlier, how many people said this was just doom and gloom, fear mongering. Oh, the cost of living is not going to go up. The U.S., we have all these resources. We have tons of farms. We're tons of energy. We're the #1 energy producer. We'll look at what is happening. Inflation, rising prices everywhere. The late rents are starting to go up once again at an alarming level. We've got a whole housing report. We're going to talk more about that here probably early next week. So please stay tuned for that one. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates. But the rescue programs that we saw through 2020 and most of 2021, you're going to start seeing the repercussions here because late rents are increasing. You're going to start seeing more evictions happening. Homelessness is going to continue to skyrocket. Cost of living going to continue to go up. Cost of energy. You're going to see a bankruptcy surge starting in the second half 2022. Oh, JJ, this is doom and gloom. Come on, man. Don't you have any good news? Yeah, there's good news. The baseball players are not making enough money. They're going to strike, and they're going to get their fair share, and everything's fine for them. So hold on to your wallets, folks. Keep stacking. Keep preparing. Come back for more updates here. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Hope everybody's well. Bye for now. Peace.